For years, kingdoms rose, and kingdoms fell. Kings changed, empires shifted, power moved from one throne to another, but one man remained unshaken. His name was Daniel, wise, disciplined, faithful. Even in a foreign land, Daniel carried something Babylon could not corrupt: integrity, and that made him dangerous. By the time King Darius took the throne, Daniel had become one of the most trusted men in the entire empire. So trusted, in fact, that the king planned to place him over the whole kingdom. And that's when the jealousy began. Because people will celebrate your success until it threatens their position. The officials searched desperately for something against Daniel: corruption, greed, dishonesty, anything. But they found nothing. No scandal, no weakness, no compromise, only faithfulness. And when people cannot destroy your character, they will often attack your convictions. So they created a trap. The officials approached the king with flattering words. "King Darius, live forever. Let a decree be established across the empire. For the next 30 days, anyone who prays to any god or man except you shall be thrown into the lion's den." It appealed to the king's pride. And without realizing it, Darius signed Daniel's death warrant. The law of the Medes and Persians could never be changed. When Daniel heard the decree, he did something shocking. He didn't panic. He didn't hide. He didn't lower his faith to fit the culture around him. Instead, he went home, opened his windows toward Jerusalem, knelt down, and prayed, just as he had always done. Because real faith is not loud only when it's convenient. Real faith stays consistent, even when it becomes dangerous. The officials caught him immediately, and they rushed back to the king. "Daniel has ignored your decree. He still prays to his God 3 times a day." The moment Darius heard it, his heart sank. Because suddenly the king realized the law meant to honor him would destroy the man he respected most. All day long, Darius searched for a loophole, a way out, a way to save Daniel. But the law could not be reversed, and sometimes the consequences of pride arrive too late to stop at sunset. Daniel was led to the lion's den. Massive beasts moved in the darkness below. The stone was rolled into place. The seal of the king was pressed against it. And before Daniel disappeared into the darkness, King Darius spoke with trembling hope. "May your God, whom you serve continually, rescue you." That night, the palace was silent. No music, no celebration, no sleep. The king refused food, because for the first time, the most powerful man in the empire realized something terrifying. Power cannot save the people you love. At dawn, Darius ran to the den. Not walked, ran. And with fear in his voice, he cried out, "Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God been able to rescue you from the lions?" For a moment, silence. Then suddenly, a voice answered from the darkness. Calm, steady, alive. "O king, live forever. My God sent his angel and shut the mouths of the lions." Imagine that moment. The stone removed, light entering the den, and Daniel standing there untouched. No wounds, no blood, no fear. Because the same God who allowed him into the den was already waiting for him inside it. Daniel was lifted out immediately, and the king issued a new decree across the empire. The God of Daniel is the living God. He endures forever. He rescues. He saves. And suddenly the entire kingdom heard about the God Babylon could not silence. But here's the real lesson of Daniel's story. The miracle was not that God shut the mouths of lions. The miracle was that Daniel never stopped praying. Even when the world demanded silence, Because courage is not standing fearless in front of danger. Courage is kneeling before God while danger stands outside your door. And maybe that's where you are right now, surrounded by pressure, fear, temptation, a culture telling you to stay quiet about your faith. But Daniel's story reminds us, God does not abandon his people in the den. He meets them there. So if you're walking through your own lion's den today, don't panic. Pray. Because the God who protected Daniel still shuts the mouths of lions. Type Amen if you believe God is still able to rescue, protect, and deliver today.